Been a long time coming.
Yo, what's up? What's up, YouTube family? It's Dre Radio. I just want to talk about this quick topic. I had a friend that hit me up, and they going through some things with their children that their children are going against them. Their children are saying, "Hey, I didn't ask to be here, so you're supposed to do this for me. You're supposed to do that for me." They think their parents are perfect. Well, guess what? These children are pushing 30. These children are pushing 30 years old. And they have this, I don't know, they just like, they deserve everything. They have this type of attitude. The word escapes me, but I'm pretty sure you guys know that word, entitlement. That's it, entitlement. And they're pushing 30. And I look at it like this, so we look at our parents as being perfect to us when we were kids and growing up. That's because that's all we know, that's all we see. We don't understand life. But when you become an adult and you like 28, 29 years old, getting ready to be 30, you're supposed to have knowledge enough to know, okay, my parents was doing this because of that. Okay, I forgive them for that. Or I was thinking this way early on about my parents with disdainment because of this and that. Now I'm an adult and I see they don't, I don't understand why they didn't kick in, because with my generation, that kicked in at some point. It's some things our parents, when we was coming up, it's some things our parents did that we was mad with them about and all this, that. But then when I became an adult, I was like, man, I see, okay, now I see a little clearer. They made a mistake. They ain't perfect. You know what I mean? And for a son or a daughter to just continue to hold a grudge against their parents, and you a full-fledged adult, man, that sounds like something more internal with yourself. To me, I mean, I might be wrong about it, but that sounds like something that's inside of you need to be dealing with. You know what I mean? Because I know for a fact nobody is perfect and everybody make mistakes. You know what I mean? So these, like, you would think I'm talking about kids. If these was kids, teenage kids, yeah, they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the maturity to think with a more mature mind or open mind and look at a big picture, right? But we're talking about people that's pushing 30, and some of them are 30 and up, and they still holding stuff against their parents. Now, I'm not talking about the extreme. I ain't talking about the extreme. I'm talking about just things that, and when I say extreme, I mean like, maybe abuse, physical abuse and all that type of stuff. That could, outside of that, that's a whole nother topic. And this is not what my friends' children have ever been through. But I'm talking about just simple mistakes they might have made, or something that the children disagreed with and the children was wrong, or something they disagreed with and the parents was wrong. This is what I'm talking about. You grew up in a household where you wasn't in the projects. You went to a better school. You had better clothes. You had better food. They ain't looking at that. I grew up in Carver Home in Atlanta, Georgia. Carver Home. No central air. No central heat. I was hot in the summer and I froze in the winter because those projects didn't have central air and central heat. Grew up hard. Everything was minimal. Clothes and everything was minimal. Did I hold a grudge against my parents for that? No. Was I disappointed at the time? Yeah, because I was a kid. But then when I grew up to be an adult, I know, hey, things could be hard. Everybody's not fortunate enough to get $100 pair of shoes or the Calvin Klein jeans and stuff that was out back then when I was coming up. And so I look at that totally different when I became an adult. It's not easy trying to raise kids. It's just not easy. If you're a parent that sucked and you didn't even try to raise your kids, then that's different. But even with that, if it's a parent that didn't try to raise their kid because they was on drugs or maybe alcoholism, if I was a child or somebody like that, once I became an adult, I would give them grace because I know they were dealing with an addiction. They were dealing with an addiction. I'm sorry, my tongue. But I would give them grace. And that's just me. I'm just speaking for me. I can't speak for everybody on that. But I know these people was raising their kids. And all because they can't get the money they want. All because they can't get the help that they need to get this new car. Because they're trying to keep up with the trends. Now they act like they can't see the grandkids. None of that. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And so I want to say to the young folks, if you holding a grudge against your parents, man, just stop, because you know better than nobody else on this planet. You're not better than them. They're not better than you. Everybody equal. You're supposed to respect your parents. Even if y'all ain't getting along, you can respect them by keeping your distance. You see what I'm saying? Don't be trying to, don't be deliberately disrespecting your parents, man, because that ain't going to go good for you in your life. Because like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, nobody is perfect. Why would you hold a grudge against your parent? And like I said, I'm not talking about that extreme physical abuse and SA abuse and all that. That's different. You know, I ain't talking about that. But I'm just talking about just normal, you know, parenting where stuff is up and down. And you want to hold a grudge. You know what I mean? Because maybe your parent was dealing with alcohol. Maybe your parents were dealing with drugs at the time. They were just caught up, man. They made a mistake under normal circumstances. If it weren't for the drugs, you know they would have been there. And so, you know what I'm saying? You got to give people grace sometime, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you suffered through it. You know what I'm saying? But you still here. God got you through it. And so you need to show your parents grace. Show your parents grace, because I'm going to tell you something. Them drugs were put here by the government to destroy the black family. But what happened, it ended up pouring over into the white people area, into the white people neighborhood. It started pouring over into they people, right? And so then they implemented war on drugs. Well, it's war on drugs now. But I guarantee you, if it would have never poured over into they people, they would have never implemented war on drugs. I'm not racist at all. I got a white sister. I got a white cousin. I mean, I grew up in the household with a white sister in Culver Home for a couple of years. So I'm not racist, but I'm just telling it like it is. Talking about being politically correct. Nah, I'm talking about being real about it. And so I just want to say to you young folk, man, don't go against your parents, especially when they're trying to make it right with you. If they're trying to make it right, if they can never go back and change it, and they wish they could. But if they trying to make it right with you, man, give your parents some grace. Give them some grace, man. Because you would want the same thing if you was in if you had done something or you needed some forgiveness. Give them some grace if they're trying to make it right. Don't talk to them disrespectful. Don't be cursing in front of them. You know what I mean? Don't be doing, no matter if you 30, 40, 50 years old, man. They still are the superior in ranking to you as far as father and child. They still your father, right? You're equal, but you need to hold them in a higher regard. Hold your parents in a higher regard if they trying to make it right. You know what I'm saying? They done with the addiction. They done got control of the alcohol. And so they want to make it right with you. Give them that grace, man. Give them that grace, because When they trying to make it right with you, and I'm talking to you young people, it's because that love that they have for you, they're able to give it to you in a healthy way now. And there's so much love built up in them that they couldn't really correctly display during their addiction. They got so much to give to you now. And especially if you got grandkids, oh man, they gonna love on the grandkids, man. And they mind you giving them a chance to make it up. You know what I mean? You giving them a chance to make it up through the grandkids and everything. So don't restrict your parents from your kids, man, because the grandkids, they innocent, they the life, they the next generation, they the legacy. They the legacy, especially if it's the man child, the boy. They carry the legacy, man. So don't mess that up. It's got to be a point to where we can forgive one another, because nobody's perfect. You don't want your kids to grow up and treat you the way you treat your parents. You know what I mean? You may raise your children better than your parents raised you. That's good. That's real good. But still, give your parents grace for the mistakes they made. You don't know really what triggered them to go through that. You don't really know because times were different then. It was harder to get your hands on some money. During our parents' days, it was hard to get your hands on a bunch of money legally. Now, you can get your hands on a bunch of money legally. All you got to do is go to this thing right here. The phone, the tablet, the computer. Just go online. And if you got a niche and you know how to reach out to people, you making money like that. They didn't have that back then. They was raised up under a different module of living. That module of living told them that they had to work hard to get ahead. Like physically work hard with their hands to get ahead. And that was a lie. We found out all these many years that was a lie. To really get ahead in life, you gotta use this. You don't work hard. You use this to get ahead in life. But they tricked our parents and told them you get out there and work hard like a slave and you'll be where I'm at. Pull yourself up by your bootstrap. It was a whole lie. And they didn't have nothing. They kept them away from a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? The credit system, all of that. The schools was teaching us to my parents' generation, even my generation. The schools taught us to be workers. They never taught us to be business owners. They never had that in the curriculum. They never taught us about money. They never taught us about credit, and we're not going to blame the teachers, because the teachers is getting the curriculum from the government. So it's not the teacher's fault. Don't even get, I heard students get mad with the teacher. It's not the teacher. She's teaching you what the government gave her to teach you. And so we're finding out more and more because we're in a more of an informational era. We're in a more of an informational era now, to where the truth is coming out slowly but surely. And our parents, in my opinion, was way much smarter than we are. Way much smarter than we are. They got a lot done the hard way. They got more of a lot done the hard way than we have gotten done the easy way. Even my children, my generation, you know what I'm saying, after me, it's even easier for them because they have the internet to make money from. You just get out there and do your thing and get your audience, get your niche, and you can make money from it. But our parents, we got to give them grace, man. They came up harder than us. They came up harder from a different era, man. And so to all the young people right now, if your parents is trying to make it right with you, please, man, listen to me. Give them that grace. If they're trying to make it right, give them that grace. Take it one day at a time and give them that grace because they love you now. Even though they know you don't even like them, they still love you. Give them that grace. Give them a chance. They can never make it up, right? The old days. So we ain't going to think about that because we can't do nothing about that. That's gone forever, right? But you and your parents is still alive. You can do it now. It's not too late because you 30 and 40, 50 years old. It's not too late. You both are still alive, so go ahead and go and build a bond with your parents, man. Because them are the only people that really, truly love you. I'm telling you, they just made a mistake. They just made a mistake, man. You know what I mean? I made mistakes. I didn't raise my kids perfectly. I could have been a better father, in my opinion. I could have been a better father. You know what I mean? If there's no excuse, all the stuff that I did in my younger years, I chose to do that. Nobody made me do that. I ain't making up no excuse. Don't get me wrong. But I can say this. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? I did the best I could for a house full of kids. I was married to my children's mother, and we had a house full of kids. And I would tell you this: they never went hungry, and they always had a roof over their head, and they never missed one Christmas, and they had clothes on their back. But it's more. I could have did more to be a parent to them besides providing for them. Just because you provide for your kid, you know what I mean? You still need to be there emotionally for them, physically, mentally, you know what I'm saying? I'm always out trying to get the money. I was a young dude, just always, I gotta go. I gotta go get that money. You know what I mean? I'm out all night sometimes trying to get that money. You know what I mean? I didn't have to. I didn't have to. But I just wanted to. I was cool. You know what I mean? With what I had. Greed, being young, and wanting to be out there. But I took care of my children. They can't never come up and say they ever went hungry. They didn't have a roof over their head. They never missed a Christmas. But I still was failing in other areas. And so I had issues with my children. You know what I mean? And it's, I'm going to do another video about me and my older daughter. Because it's something about her. I see wisdom in her. And the devil is trying to rob her of that. I see wisdom in her. She's stronger than me. My daughter, my oldest daughter, has always been strong. And I've always said this, even back when she was born. I said, this one's stronger than me. And I thought I was strong. And I mean right here. In my soul, she's stronger than me. I'm telling you. I'm gonna do another story about that. And y'all gonna see. Because what I said she couldn't do, what I thought she couldn't do, like really, she did everything. Prove me wrong. And I ain't talking about in a bad way. I'll let y'all know the whole situation. But what I want to say is, man, y'all just, man, if you give your parents grace. That's all Dre Radio is saying. Give your parents grace. You know what I mean? Let's learn how to love one another, forgive one another, take it one day at a time. Even if you got to call them for 2 minutes and say, hey, how you doing now? Just checking in on you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel comfortable saying you love them, don't just take it one day at a time. Little baby walks. Hey, all right, I just checking in. They know what that means. When you call your parents, oh, I'm just checking in. Your parents know what that means. They know you telling them that you love them. You know what I mean? So just and for the parents, you know what I'm saying? Same way. One day at a time. Don't force it. Just one day at a time. We got to get this right. We got to get back to one another, man. We got to get back to loving one another, and also get back to praying and believing in God. There's a lot of people out here ain't believing in God. And that's a whole nother video. And that's why so much, I believe that's why so much going on, because a lot of people, man, don't believe in God, man. That's why they doing the shit they doing. And that make me mad. And I don't mean to curse, but that make me mad when people be talking about it ain't no God and they don't believe in God. But you can't tell me how you got here. You can't explain. I asked you how you got here and you can't tell me. But you gonna in the same breath tell me it ain't no God. That's a problem. That's a big problem right there, man. That's a lost soul that needs to be guided. That's all that is. So I just want to just send this message out there, man, y'all. Dre Radio signing off. Don't forget to pray. Have a good time. Live your life. Don't ever stop living your life. I don't care if you're 150. If you still alive, live your life the way you want to. Make sure it's a clean way of living, a good way of living. Have fun and just keep living until the day God calls you home. Don't ever stop because they say, oh, you too old and all that. That's bullshit. You're never supposed to start living if you're alive. I don't know who came up with that other, But anyway, keep living, keep having fun, keep smiling, keep praying, you know what I mean? And do your thing, man. Keep the faith. It's going to be all right. One way or the other, it's going to be all right. One way or the other, it's going to be all right. Because you do know if you're on the side of God, you're on the winning team. That's the winning side. So one way or the other, this life or the next life, it's going to be all right. Peace. Dre Radio, signing off.